bad accident along Magi Highway. Independent candidates banding together to campaign. And RSPCA PNG holds its third annual dog show. This is National MTV News with Neville Choi.
Good evening, this is Saturday's news. A woman is in critical condition at Port Moresby General Hospital following a road accident yesterday. The accident occurred along the Magi Highway when a grey utility lost control after attempting to overtake another vehicle. The victim, who was a passenger, was thrown out of the vehicle as it lost control. She was rushed to hospital and remains in critical condition. Witnesses say the grey utility was traveling at high speed. Alcohol was found in the vehicle, with witnesses filing reports to traffic police.
Speed man. Come now, I promise them. Will come hitting power pole and put on. Tire house. Tire house. And said hitting no said, I'm come back. Scratch comes in on me. Same time, like when Chatano, Mitani, BNM come and pull him out.
Member for Rigo, Ano Pala, has defended the government of the day, highlighting the projects delivered in his electorate. He also encouraged other candidates to campaign sensibly by spelling out their own policies. Mr. Pala said they should do this instead of criticizing the current government.
Ano Pala said his campaign message is along the lines of the People's National Congress Party policy. When asked for comments about what projects have been carried out in Rigo district,
we've helped churches, we've built schools, we've built jetties. In fact, we built 2 jetties. Well, 1 jetty, but we're in the process of building another jetty now. So we will build more jetties in this district than I think any other district in the central province. And of course, we built a road, 40 million road coming up now. And that is the major road going through the most populated area of the district. And that has not happened for 40 years, so that's a major development.
This is the first time a major road maintenance and sealing project has been carried out in this area. While some may argue that this 40-kilometer road does not lead to any major resource project, it runs through one of the most populated areas in the district. The road sealing will run from Gabone village to Gemo. Loma Constructions Limited is the contractor, with Cardinal Engineering as project manager. The 40 million kina funding is from the World Bank and the government of PNG. Mr. Pala remains confident of retaining his seat.
I'm actually very confident because the government policies are set and we just put in those policies to the people. So people are not guessing, they know exactly what we are standing for. People are comfortable because of my own experience. I've been in Parliament for many, many years. As you know, almost 40 years before I became, almost 30 years before I became a member of Parliament. So I think people have comfort in my experience and judgment to represent them on the floor of Parliament for the next 5 years.
There are 39 candidates contesting the Rigo open seat, including the sitting MP, Mr. Pala. Of the 39, there are 8 female candidates. Mr. Pala said a major rice project worth 50 million kina is in the pipeline for the central province. The people of Rigo are expected to benefit when 30,000 jobs are created. Reporting from Gabone village in the Rigo district, Deli Waigeno, National MTV News.
3 independent candidates held a campaign rally today in Port Moresby. Independent candidates are banding together for election rallies. Today's rally saw the coming together of 2 Moresby Northeast candidates and a candidate running for the East Sepik regional seat.
Mosby Northeast candidate Paul Balamus held a rally today with fellow candidate John Bria and Brian Combe. East Sepik regional candidate Alois Jerawai was also invited to speak at the rally. The four independent candidates collectively agree that the country is in an economic decline with high deficits and a change of leadership is needed. Constitutional lawyer Alois Jerawai, who is contesting the East Sepik regional seat, says the country's constitution needs to be safeguarded.
You platingim one plalong number 1, you plakentingim nara plalong number 2, and nara plalong number 3.
Former Port Moresby police boss Brian Combe had this to say.
Problem of financial crisis. This is the country go look at me. Now me look at camera, you blame me talk through. I think I got the problem is even talk through.
John Bria, the former Rausim Alien Task Force boss, brought up issues about the economy. Paul Balamus, former Air Niugini Union president, says he is running for elections to do the right thing. Most candidates are not speaking about their policies in public rallies. Instead, they are focusing on the sitting government's excessive spending and borrowing. Bethany Harriman, National EMTV News.
The head of Central Bank of PNG has announced an improvement of the foreign exchange rate. Governor Loy Bakane announced yesterday that this comes on the back of improved commodity prices and influx of foreign exchange by mining giants. Bakane said the economy will improve slowly and businesses will bounce back.
The head of Central Bank of PNG held a news conference yesterday announcing improvements in the much debated foreign exchange rates. Bakane said records have proved a slight but remarkable difference from the economic struggles faced in early 2016.
Today, it's only people can put in their order today, they wait for 1 or 2 weeks and they get their order filled. So very, very big improvement, big change. Okay.
According to the head of BPNG, the slight improvement follows a climb in prices of both mineral and non-mineral commodities.
A very narrow export base. Our export base is meaning in terms of non-mineral sector, there's very few commodities that we export. And this is the issue that we have to know. It comes back to the fundamental and structural problem that we have in Papua New Guinea.
Another factor is the influx of foreign exchange outside the country by mining giants. Bakane says this is to meet local expansion and other significant investments.
Octadia especially. We got Lee here, we got even ExxonMobil. Some of them are bringing huge oil sales. They bring in lots of foreign exchange. So that's acknowledged. That's the way it should operate. They bring in for their own purposes here.
But there is a concern to keep this momentum going for the foreign exchange to improve further. Bakane says a sustainable mechanism must be put in place.
So those are very basic, very few. And in terms of sustaining future incomes or future foreign exchange earnings for Papua New Guinea, it's not sustainable to have this very few exports. We have to look at other ways of, if there are few, then we have to look at other ways.
Jack Lepave Jr., National EMTV News.
You're with National EMTV News. More on yesterday's breakout at Buimor Prison, mining and exploration opened on Bougainville, and the RSPCA holds its 3rd annual dog show. Those stories after the break. Welcome back to the news. An unconfirmed number of prisoners have been shot and killed after a daring escape early yesterday from the Buimor prison in Lae. Police and CS authorities have not confirmed the exact number of prisoners killed. The escape is believed to have happened Friday morning. Police and CS officers scoured the east and west Taraka areas to track down the escapees. One CS source said 57 prisoners escaped. However, the prison command has not responded to requests to confirm the figures. At around 7 p.m. last night, a convoy of police and CS vehicles brought the bodies of prisoners to the Angao Hospital morgue under heavy guard. Lae Metropolitan Command said they are yet to confirm the exact numbers of those shot, recaptured, and those still at large. This is one of several incidents in 3 years in which prisoners have been shot. Mining and exploration activities in the autonomous region of Bougainville are now open. President Chief John Mommis, while launching the mining industry program, says Bougainville is open for business, and the autonomous Bougainville government has an obligation to fulfill its full economic potential. This story from Fabian Hakalitz in Buka.
The mining and exploration industry in the autonomous region of Bougainville is now open for business as of 10 a.m. on Tuesday this week. This follows the uplifting of the moratorium in the areas of Tore, Isina and Java on April 28 this year.
We like formally declare him exploration and mining of Bougainville today.
Bougainville must sustain itself, and with mining activities now being opened, this will allow more internal revenue for the autonomous region's development.
The economic potential she so rightly deserves. This is my sole priority, to see Bougainville restored to her former glory, to lift up our people and to achieve prosperity.
Locals like former Bougainville Revolutionary Army General Sam Kauna has welcomed the launching of the mining program because it will generate revenue for Bougainville under the new existing Bougainville Mining Law 2014, which gives effect to land owners.
Me no like looking one toya loan tax and me go on national government. Me no like looking this flat. Today start on one toya you go on top tax it must come up long ABG government.
In Buka, Fabian Hakalitz, National EMTV News.
Grade 12 students from Port Moresby International School are urging more care by humans towards marine life. Yesterday, the students visited Lion Island to carry out studies on how human activity is affecting mangroves and its surrounding environment. MTV cameraman Ewan Akila was part of the excursion to film this story.
This was no ordinary excursion as the POMI students left the comfortable learning environment for a day outside the classroom. Their case study of mangroves and the biology subject led them to Lion Island, an ideal location to test and prove results on how the marine environment is surviving despite the overwhelming human activities.
So we've given this opportunity to students so that they can be able to see what they can do here in just a little bit, maybe do their bit type of experience here in studying the water quality and how the water quality affects or influences the growth of mangroves.
Students carried out temperature tests, oxygen tests and observations on how the marine ecosystem is affected. A critical part of the study proves the depleting growth of mangroves on our shores.
Lion Island is a beautiful island, but sadly, unfortunately, the organisms or the species here are close to being destroyed or being extinct.
Apart from that, one of the main human factors could be, as you can see behind me, Tuna Bay, could be population increase or unwanted fishing along the area.
Part of the lesson was also to find concrete opinions on how the mangrove and its surrounding environment can be conserved and managed in a sustainable manner.
How to manage it, and especially the threats that are happening and that are damaging the mangrove system and the environment.
Lion Island is just one example of proving that our marine life is being severely affected by humans. At a global scale, other coastal environments face similar challenges.
Like my advice to this generation, what we need to do is we need to start preserving and learning how to take care of our mangroves.
Jack Lopave Jr., National EMTV News.
The Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, or the RSPCA of Papua New Guinea, held its third annual dog show this morning at Harbour City in Port Moresby. This show saw various species of dogs in attendance, with their handlers showcasing some of their pets' unique drills while being assessed by panel judges. Awards were also given to the contestants who performed outstandingly. Eric Haupma has this story.
The Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals of Papua New Guinea, third dog show in the country, drew dogs from across Port Moresby City who came to participate in this event.
There was a lot more than last year. Last year I think we had 11 contestants showed up. We had 13 registered. This year we only had 15 registered, but 19 doggies showed up. Plus we had a handful of doggies who just came along to watch the show and appreciate what it was for and just interact with other dogs.
There were different breeds of dog species brought by their handlers to perform drills for judges. This event correlates with the RSPCA's mission to prevent cruelty to animals through community education and promoting and providing animal care. It was aimed for Papua New Guineans to value and respect animal care and protection. The entrant received awards based on certain criteria. Among other awards given, Obit Allen received the top award for the biggest dog in NCD. On contrast, Catherine received the smallest dog award. Other awards were given to dogs with the most interesting fur, most obedient dog Yana, dog resembling Iso, her handler, and the best dog. Igloo received the award for the best dog in the show because of its behavior and performance on stage and attitude towards other dogs whilst watching them performing on stage. Eric Arupma, National MTV News.
You're with National MTV News. Stories making headlines overseas when we come back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. Turning overseas now, U.S. President Donald Trump has come under fire for suggesting White House phone calls are being recorded. It follows yet another tweet sent out by Mr. Trump, which appears to threaten the former FBI Director James Comey, the man who had been investigating alleged Russian interference in the U.S. elections.
He's already fired him, and today President Trump aimed an apparent threat at former FBI Director James Comey. The president tweeting, "James Comey better hope there are no tapes of our conversations before he starts leaking to the press." Wait a minute, tapes? Is President Trump taping his White House conversations? Today, after the tweet, a non-denial.
What about the idea that in a tweet you said that there might be tape recordings?
Well, that I can't talk about. I won't talk about that. All I want is for Comey to be honest, and I hope he will be, and I'm sure he will be, I hope.
A recording would reveal whether Comey actually said what the president claims he said about the Russia investigation.
I said, if it's possible, would you let me know, am I under investigation? He said, you are not under investigation.
Today, the White House was pressed on whether the president is threatening Comey and whether any recordings actually exist.
Did President Trump record his conversations with former FBI Director Comey?
I've talked to the president. The president has nothing further to add on that.
Are there recording devices in the Oval Office or in the residence?
As I've said for the third time, there is nothing further to add on that.
Does he think it's appropriate to threaten someone like Mr. Comey not to speak?
I don't think that's not a threat. He's simply stated a fact. The tweet speaks for itself. I'm moving on.
Sean Spicer simply refused to confirm or deny whether or not the White House is bugged.
Sean, did you ask the president if he has installed listening devices in the White House? Did you ask the president if he installed listening devices?
Secret White House recordings are not unprecedented. Kennedy and LBJ secretly taped their Oval Office meetings, and so, of course, did Richard Nixon. But Nixon's tapes helped bring down his presidency, and no president since has acknowledged installing listening devices in the White House.
While the U.S. may be pulling back from globalization under Donald Trump, its rival China is moving in the opposite direction. On Sunday, it will formally kick off an ambitious new trade plan in which Beijing aims to revive the ancient Silk Road trading route.
29 world leaders and even the UN set to attend, expectations for Beijing's so-called New Silk Road Summit are high.
Well, I think the Belt and Road Initiative is emerging as a very important part of 21st century economic development. Something that we badly need at this time is a lift in the global economic situation.
The Belt and Road Initiative is a trade plan based on the ancient Silk Road trading routes. It involves China spending hundreds of billions of dollars on building 2 new global trade routes over land and sea, with cooperative countries along the routes like Indonesia set to benefit from investment in new roads, ports and railways.
The process for the hire to train, I think is progressing very well. We are now already starting for land clearing for the first 5 kilometers.
But it's not just China's neighbours that are part of the plan. In March, New Zealand became the first developed nation to sign up to the Belt and Road Initiative. Although when it comes to infrastructure in New Zealand, Chinese economists say China is more likely to be interested in poorer, developing nations than New Zealand.
For the developed countries like New Zealand, maybe you also like US. You also need to upgrade the infrastructure a little bit, but it's not in a rush. Maybe the Chinese company, they are more interested for New Zealand market in the agriculture sector.
Not all countries are keen on China's plan, and there's suspicion the Belt and Road is really China exerting political power.
And because of China's political system, it's just not trusted. And so, China talks about trying to build a community of common destiny, but it's going to, I think, really struggle to win over that trust.
We are simply conducting economic activities. How can this impose any threat to anyone? Our aim is to make a fortune together with the others.
President Xi will spell out more details of that aim when he opens the summit on Sunday. The first electric farm bike may soon be ready for the road. New Zealand company ABCO has partnered with an American technical group to help launch the bike overseas.
They've created a lot of noise for a small bike that makes no sound at all. And now, with financial backing, ABCO, the company responsible for the first electric farm bike, is ready to go global.
Probably the most important thing, apart from the investment, is the fact that you're actually entering probably the largest addressable market.
The US market is highly competitive, but it is a big market to get into, and if you can crack that, then you're doing really well.
With the help of entrepreneurs and expansion experts, ABCO's formed a distribution branch in Oregon.
I think a lot of companies have missed the opportunities. Certainly in the outdoor off-road area, it seems to be that everywhere we're looking at entering the market, we are the only vehicle that's doing it. I think there's the recognition that you've actually got something that works.
Powered by a lithium battery with a top speed of almost 50 kilometres per hour, the bikes are already being used here on picturesque Walter Pig Farm in central Otago. There are about 300 ABCO 2x2s in the country. Up until now, they've been used off-road, but now a new bike's in production that can be road registered and capable of travelling up to 150 kilometres before being recharged.
So that is a significant step up in technology, as well as including all the critical requirements for homologation, which is, speedo indicators, dippable headlights, and also there's a lot of EMC compliance, which is electromagnetic interference, which has had to be done to get the bike into a kind of a production-ready state.
60 bikes will be shipped to the States, and with $1 million investment to boot, you can expect to see more of these in the future.
Interesting story there. Trukai Sports is up next. Stand by for all the election day.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The Schools Football Association of Port Moresby launched its 2017 season at the Piscine grounds this morning. It's expected to be a competitive one as both boys and girls in the under 14 to under 16 divisions participate.
With the aim of developing the next crop of talented footballers in Papua New Guinea, the school's football program will see almost 23 schools taking part in this year's competition. Hosted in 2016 as an indoor competition, the organizers have now opted for a larger structure, with players in teams of 9 for the senior division, under 14 and 16, and smaller 7-a-side for the junior divisions, which go as low as under 6. The plans in place for the school's football competition will later on in the year see an inter-district comp, which will create a selection pathway for players to experience representative football. The school's football program has tried to target a massive 53 schools in Port Moresby.
although today saw only a handful take part. Enlisting the help of the Centauro Sport Academy, with players later on given the chance to be selected into the newest of the NSL franchises, the Southern Strikers. The tournament will continue for the next 2.5 months. Jeremy Moggy, National TV Sports.
To the NRL, and in Friday night football, Cronulla Sharks snatched a late 18-14 victory over the St. George Illawarra Dragons. The winning try came from an ugly display of refereeing.
This is the try. Well, in the end,
Sosaya Feki scored the match winner in the 72nd minute after officials missed a fumble in the play the ball. And that came after an earlier try where Feki scored off a forward pass. Though the Dragons were without some of their key players, they managed to hold back the 2016 premiers. Players like Garrett Widdop, Josh Dugan and more did not feature in the match last night due to injury. The crucial win over the Dragons has moved the Sharks to first place. With two of the top teams going head-to-head in the NRL, it was all sloppy ball handling errors from both teams. Elijah Levitt, National EMTV Sports.
Still in the NRL, after a miserable week, New Zealand League bosses were hoping the Warriors could give the code a much-needed boost. But even before kick-off against the Penrith Panthers, they suffered a blow, with returning veteran Manu Vatuvei ruled out with injury.
Panthers have missed more tackles than any other team this NRL season. And they'd miss a whole heap more to help the Warriors strike first.
The ball on the ground picked up by foreign. The Warriors go over first.
Not long after, the Panthers would have to try and defend with one less, thanks to this professional foul. The one-man advantage making it all a little bit too easy for the visitors.
Quick hands, Carter. Out it goes for Chance. Nickel Klokstad. Forward and straight through now, Hoffman.
The Warriors scoring at a point a minute to start the contest before the Panthers finally struck back.
Beats one, Isaiah Yo!
But if there were any signs of a comeback from the home team, the Warriors were having none of it. Kieran Foran's 40-20 putting them in field position to strike.
Looking for a 40-20.
Before his next kick would extend the lead.
Foran kicks, looking for a chaser, and there to claim it, Chance Nickel Klokstad.
Chance Nickel Klokstad called in to replace the injured Manu Vatuvei with a double in the first 40, as the lead ballooned out to 28 points to 6 come half-time, thanks to this full-field effort from David Fusatua.
This time, victory goes to David Fusatua.
The Panthers, though, trying to avoid 6 straight defeats, quickly brought the deficit back to just 4 points with 3 quick tries.
Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, but Wanga Blake goes straight over the top of him.
They then unbelievably take the lead, scoring 24 points in just 20 minutes.
Moylan twists and Moylan scores.
The Warriors' hopes of scoring their first win across the ditch this season quickly evaporating.
And the final score to that game, Panthers 36, Warriors 28. Don't go away, we've got more sporting action coming up after the break. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. Now to something you don't see every day. PNG Netball Internationals Raylene Andrew and Tau Galewa took to the field for University FC in the Port Moresby soccer competition. Playing against Munkas in round 1, the netballers were joined by another young star, Carol Kanabotti, in a bid to keep fit ahead of a grueling netball season. Both Andrew and Galewa played for Monia Paramana in the 2016 POM Netball Grand Final, defeating Snacks Mermaids. All 3 players will be featuring for their respective netball clubs this week. To basketball now, and in the NBL, John Wall kept the hopes of the Washington Wolves in the NBL playoff season alive, sinking a 3-pointer in the final seconds of Game 6 of their Eastern Conference semi-final series.
Boston Celtics arriving in black, suggesting the end of the Wizards' season, but that just added fuel to the fire. The two sides going tit for tat the whole game. Wall finally finding his mojo after just 3 points in the first half. However, it was Boston managing to jump out to a 5-point lead with only a minute and a half to play.
Launching another 3. IT on the mark. He does it again, and you know what time it is by now.
The Wizards reducing that lead to just 2 with 7 seconds to go, locking in a Game 7.
Gives it to Wall. Working against Bradley for three. John Wall! Hold on. What a shot. Now you talk about a pressure shot. That was it.
I ain't going home. Don't come to my city wearing all black, talking about it's a funeral. We worked too hard for this.
The series decider on Tuesday in Boston. Tough for the Wizards, though. All 10 meetings between the two sides this season have gone to the home team.
Turning back home to sailing, 12 A-class sailing boats and Hobie Cats were out today at the Fairfax Harbour to participate in the annual Three Peaks race organized by the Royal Papua Yacht Club. The stamina and endurance level of competitors were put to the test under the scorching Port Moresby heat.
Sailors and runners were up early today, ready to hit the waters in what was anticipated to be a thrilling contest of skill and endurance. Starting the race at 11 a.m. was the A-class sailing boats, which were followed suit by the Hobie Cats. Under a perfect clear sky with the wind in the sails, the fleet set sail to Manubada Island as the first leg of the race commences. Once there at the island, representatives from each boat takes a dip into the ocean and swim to the shores before a back-aching run up the hill. Then back to the beach for a swim back to their yachts. The same was done at the second course at the Lolorua Island. However, the race to the finishing line marks the end of the second leg of the race. The third and final part of the race was the test of endurance and stamina from the Royal Papua Yacht Club to Burns Peak and back to the finishing line. The evening was concluded with presentation of awards and consolation prizes. Shane Soroya, National EMTV Sports.
And that ends True Kai Sports. The weather details when we come back.
True Kai Sports. True Kai Sports.
And the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. Southern region mostly fine with although cloudy in Port Moresby, fine and windy in Daru, becoming cloudy and a chance of showers in Kerama, cloudy with a shower or two for Alatau, and cloudy with some light rain then fine in Popaneta. In the Momase region, Lae cloudy with some light rain occurring and then fine. Mostly fine, although beginning to become cloudy in Madang, mostly fine with light southeast winds in Wewak, and becoming cloudy with a chance of few showers and then turning fine in Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands, becoming cloudy with a chance of a few showers is Lorengau, mostly fine in Kavieng, mostly fine in Kokopo-Rabaul and Kimbe, and mostly fine with light southeast winds in Buka. In the Highlands region, all centers cloudy with a shower or two, then morning fog developing. Forecast for small ships for tonight and tomorrow. There is a strong wind warning current for all coastal waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through to Torres Strait and Daru, to Kiwai Island, to Kerama, to Yule Island, to Hood Point, including Finchafen through Vitius Strait, to Siasi Islands, to Long Island, to Madang, to Bogia. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Kiwai Island, to Kerama, to Yule Island, to Hood Point, seas 2 to 2.5 meters. Waters of Hood Point to Samurai Island, seas 1.5 to 2 meters. Waters of Samurai Island to Cape Vogel to Finchafen, seas 1.5 to 2 meters. And waters of Finchafen through Vitius Strait, Dampier Strait, including Siasi Islands to Long Island, to Madang, to Bogia and to Wewak, seas 1.5 to 2 meters. Seas 1.1 to 1.5 meters to waters of Manus and its western group of islands. Ocean forecast for PNG areas. Coral seas rather rough to rough with southeast winds to 20 to 25 knots. Solomon seas moderate with southeast winds at 15 to 20 knots. Bismarck seas slight to rather rough with southeast winds at 15 to 20 knots. And Pacific Ocean seas slight with east to southeast winds at 10 to 15 knots. And that's the way it is this Saturday, the 13th of May, 2017. From all of us here at MTV News, an early Happy Mother's Day greeting out there to all our mothers. Enjoy the rest of tonight's viewing, and good night.